6 stories, 4.5 million square feet, 1 million packages out the door before midnight every single day. Amazon's SBD6 fulfillment center in Ontario, California, is the largest fulfillment operation the company has ever built, and almost no one outside its walls has seen how it actually runs. The secret isn't the scale, it's the logic underneath it. And the part that surprises everyone is how Amazon actually decides where to put things. The promise of 2-day delivery sounds simple. You click a button, a box appears on your doorstep. But behind that click is one of the most sophisticated logistics systems ever assembled by human hands and machine intelligence working in concert. What makes SBD6 remarkable is not just its size. It is the fact that size alone cannot explain how it moves up to 1 million shipments a day. The engineering had to be reinvented from the ground up. Stand outside SBD6, and the building does not look like a fulfillment center. It looks like a city block that someone stacked 6 stories high and wrapped in steel panels. The 4.5 million square feet of interior floor space is distributed across all 6 of those floors. Stack them flat, and you are talking about a footprint roughly equivalent to 78 city blocks. The numbers keep escalating the closer you look. More than 26 miles of conveyor belt thread through the building's 6 floors. That is farther than the distance from downtown Los Angeles to the San Fernando Valley. The facility is designed to hold up to 50 million items in inventory at any given moment, tracked, located, and retrievable within minutes. And then there are the robots. Approximately 7,000 of them work SBD6's floors across multiple systems, mobile drive units that carry shelving pods, robotic arms handling specific tasks, and sorting machines that process packages at high speed. They do not get tired. They do not get distracted. And at SBD6, there are enough of them to constitute a small army. The choice of Ontario was not accidental. Southern California's inland empire sits within a single day's ground delivery radius of nearly 20 million consumers in Greater Los Angeles, San Diego, and the surrounding basin. It connects by rail and highway to the ports of Long Beach and Los Angeles, through which a staggering share of the nation's imported goods arrive from Asia. Real estate in the Inland Empire, while no longer cheap by historical standards, remains far more affordable per square foot than anything closer to the Los Angeles city core. A critical calculation when you are constructing a building measured in millions of square feet. The region also carries decades of logistics employment history. Its workforce understands warehouse operations and the rhythm of a distribution economy in ways that newer markets cannot replicate overnight. Amazon chose Ontario because Ontario was already built for exactly this kind of scale. To follow a single order through SBD6, start before it exists. Everything sold through this building first has to arrive. On a typical day, a constant stream of semi-trailers backs into the receiving docks on the ground floor, carrying pallets from Amazon's own suppliers, third-party merchants using Fulfilled by Amazon, and transfer loads from elsewhere in the network. Every item that crosses those dock doors enters a receiving process designed to be both exhaustive and fast. Products are unloaded, counted, and scanned. Each item gets married to a barcode that tells the inventory system not just that the item exists, but exactly which product it is, what condition it is in, and where it will live inside the building. Machine learning enters the picture here in a serious way. Amazon's forecasting systems have been predicting demand for months before these items arrive, based on historical purchase patterns, seasonal signals, and real-time sales data. Inventory doesn't go into storage randomly. It gets routed toward the zones most likely to serve the orders the system expects to arrive next. The building is continuously prepositioned for purchases that haven't been made yet. Here is where most people's intuition breaks down entirely. You might assume that a fulfillment center this sophisticated would store products by category, all the electronics together, all the books in one zone, household goods in another. That is how every retail store on Earth works. It makes sense to a human brain that navigates by category. Amazon's system does the exact opposite. Items are stored using what engineers call randomized stow. A garden hose nozzle might sit on a shelf directly next to a paperback novel, which is next to a set of children's socks, which is next to a phone charger. The shelf looks like a rummage sale to any human observer. But here is the engineering insight that makes randomized stow not just acceptable but genuinely superior. The system does not need products logically grouped because humans are not the ones navigating. Robots are. When an order comes in for a specific phone charger, the system already knows which pod it is on and dispatches a robot to retrieve that exact pod. The human never walks to the product comes to the human. Randomized stow also solves a critical traffic problem. If all the best-selling items were stored together, robots would constantly converge on the same small section of the building, creating bottlenecks. Spreading popular items across many different pods and grid coordinates distributes robotic traffic evenly and eliminates the pileups that would otherwise throttle throughput. The robot floor at SBD6 is one of the most visually striking places in modern industrial engineering, and most people will never see it. The area is off-limits to most workers precisely because the coordination is so precise that a human on foot could disrupt hundreds of machines simultaneously. The mobile drive units move on a grid painted onto the floor. A central management system tracks every robot in real time, routing them around each other, preventing collisions, and assigning each one its next task the moment it completes its current one. Path planning algorithms resolve conflicts continuously. If two robots need to cross the same intersection, one is rerouted without either stopping. The effect, when you watch from an elevated vantage point, resembles a colony of highly organized insects. Thousands of individual units in continuous, purposeful motion. In 2025, Amazon announced it had deployed its 1 millionth robot across its global fulfillment network, more than 300 facilities worldwide. The roughly 7,000 units at SBD6 represent a small slice of that total, but they operate with a density and coordination that would have been unimaginable to a logistics engineer working just 2 decades ago. Every robotic trip through the grid has the same destination, a pick station. This is the interface point where machine logistics meets a task that robots have not yet mastered at the speed and reliability SBD6 requires, identifying a specific item on a pod full of mixed goods and selecting it correctly every time. At a pick station, a worker stands at a workstation facing an arriving shelf pod carried by a robot. A screen shows which item is needed and where on the pod it sits. The worker reaches in, pulls the correct item, confirms it with a scan, and places it into a tote bound for the packing stage. The robot takes its pod back into the grid, and another arrives, often within seconds. The pace is relentless by design. In traditional warehouse operations, workers can spend the majority of a shift simply walking to products. At SBD6, that walking has been almost entirely engineered out. The product comes to the person, and the worker's full attention goes to the pick itself. Computer vision systems at some stations help flag mismatches before errors can propagate downstream, though pick verification methods vary across the facility. Once an item is picked, it enters the packaging stage. Amazon does not use a standard box for every order. The packaging system selects the container, box, padded mailer, polybag, based on the item's dimensions, weight, and fragility, and how it groups with other items in the same order. The goal is to eliminate wasted space without compromising protection. This matters more than it might seem. An oversized box wastes cardboard, wastes volume in every truck, and wastes fuel. At the scale of 1 million shipments a day, even a small difference in average package volume translates directly into the number of delivery vehicles on the road. From packing, the item joins the conveyor. More than 26 miles of belt run through SBD6's 6 floors, an interconnected network that sorts packages by destination, carrier, and delivery priority. Parcels are scanned as they move, their tracking data updated in real time. A package bound for a same-day delivery zone gets routed differently than one going into the standard 2-day stream. Items headed for local Amazon delivery stations take a different branch than parcels handed to UPS or USPS for the last mile. At peak operation, the volume of packages moving through these belts simultaneously creates a visual spectacle that looks more like a waterfall than an industrial process. It is tempting to think of SBD6 as a physical engineering achievement, a large building with efficient machines inside it. But the building and the machines are only half the system. The other half is invisible, a software stack that coordinates every decision made inside the facility, from the macro-level routing of inventory to the real-time path of a single robot avoiding a collision. Amazon's warehouse management software tracks the physical location and status of every item, every robot, every tote, every package, and every conveyor segment simultaneously. When a batch of new inventory arrives, the software calculates the optimal pod and shelf slot for each item, accounting for expected demand, current robot traffic, and distance from likely pick stations, in the time it takes a worker to scan a barcode. The machine learning systems feeding this software are trained on enormous datasets of historical order patterns. They anticipate demand rather than just reacting to it, adjusting inventory positioning continuously based on what is expected to sell next. This predictive architecture is arguably Amazon's most important competitive advantage in logistics. The physical robots can be purchased. The conveyors can be installed. But the forecasting models have been trained on years of data from hundreds of millions of transactions. That depth of operational history is not something a competitor can acquire quickly. Getting a package from SBD6's shipping dock to your front door is the stage that consumes the most resources and creates the most engineering headaches. The last mile of delivery, the segment from a final sortation point to an individual address, accounts for a disproportionate share of total shipping cost. A truck carrying 150 packages has to stop 150 times to deliver them. Amazon has built a network of smaller delivery stations positioned closer to residential neighborhoods throughout Greater Los Angeles and the Inland Empire. SBD6 feeds these stations, which receive inbound packages, sort them by driver route, and serve as the final handoff point before packages go into delivery vans. It is at the delivery station, not at SBD6 itself, where packages are sequenced for individual driver routes, grouped so they come off the truck in the order they will be delivered. This hub-and-spoke model, with SBD6 as the dominant hub, is what makes same-day delivery viable at scale in a region of 20 million people. And the speed is only going to increase. Amazon has been testing autonomous delivery systems, drone programs, and electric vehicle fleets across multiple markets, technologies. The outbound infrastructure at facilities like SBD6 is designed to accommodate as they reach commercial scale. With 7,000 robots on the floor and 26 miles of conveyor belt overhead, it would be easy to describe SBD6 as a place where humans have been engineered out. That is not accurate, and the distinction matters. The facility was connected to approximately 2,000 new regional jobs at launch, with workers present at every layer of the operation, receiving inbound inventory, staffing pick stations, troubleshooting conveyor jams and robot errors, managing software dashboards, and keeping mechanical systems running. A fulfillment center at this scale generates a workforce distributed across every function the building requires. What the robotics and software have done is shift the nature of the human work. By bringing products to workers rather than requiring workers to walk to products, the robot system substantially reduces the distance workers travel per shift, though station work remains highly paced and repetitive in its own right. The work that remains is more oriented toward quality control exception handling, and system oversight. That is a genuine change in the kind of labor being done. At sufficient scale, the engineering of the human environment and the engineering of the mechanical system converge. A worker who is less fatigued makes fewer errors. Fewer errors mean fewer rescans, fewer mispicks, fewer packages sent to the wrong destination. The welfare engineering and the efficiency engineering pull in the same direction. SBD6 is not the end point of Amazon's ambitions in fulfillment. It is a proof of concept, a demonstration at operational scale of what a fully integrated robotics, software, and logistics system can achieve when given enough space, enough investment, and enough engineering time. The implications extend well beyond Amazon's business. The technologies demonstrated inside SBD6, robotic drive units, AI-driven inventory positioning, predictive demand modeling, packaging optimization, high-speed conveyor sorting, are spreading into logistics operations across the global economy. Companies that supply Amazon, companies that compete with Amazon, and companies in industries entirely unrelated to retail are studying the SBD6 model and asking which elements they can adapt. These weren't invented solely for SBD6. They were developed over years, tested in smaller facilities, refined through iteration, and deployed here because Amazon had the operational experience and financial resources to take them there. The underlying engineering principles are now shaping an entire generation of fulfillment infrastructure. That is the signature of a genuine megaproject. It does not fit into the existing environment. It redefines what the environment is capable of. Up to 1 million packages, 6 floors, 26 miles of conveyor, 7,000 robots moving in continuous coordination inside a building whose total floor space spans 4.5 million square feet across 6 stacked levels. SBD6 is not a warehouse in any sense the word used to mean. It is the physical incarnation of a decade's worth of logistics engineering, a building that operates at a scale that rewrites what supply chain infrastructure can be. The next time a box appears on your doorstep 2 days after you clicked a button, you know exactly what machinery made that possible. Here is what I want you to think about. If a single fulfillment center can process up to 1 million shipments in a day, what does the network of hundreds of such facilities actually look like at full scale? Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.